Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Monthly Night Live. First things first, we have new microphones that we're testing, so please tell us right away if there's something wrong with the sound, and we'll switch to the backup option. But
We have these fancy microphones that we can wear now. Jason finally got his wish. This is something that he has wanted for a long time, so we'll see how it plays out. But first off, we should say to all of you who are, obviously you've been here before and you're jumping in and letting us know what state you're coming from, that is super cool. I haven't been able to keep track of it, but I feel pretty confident that we are getting close to just a complete blackout on the 50 state bingo board. So I'm thrilled with that. So thank you to all of you who are chiming in. Tonight is just one of those Ask Us Anything nights. So if you have a question for us or a question about RVing or the RV industry or a question about pretty much anything, we will do our best to answer it.
we are live on both Facebook and YouTube, so we'll bring up comments and questions as we go along. But if there's comments that we bring up and you're like, I didn't see that, that's because it was probably on the other platform. We already have a few questions rolling in.
We
so
do,
that's great.
and so I just want to jump in here really quick. I'm going to try and scroll through everything and grab some questions, but maybe first we can just give a quick update about like where we are and what we've just been up to. So do you want to do that while I?
Sure. Yeah,
that?
we've
I drink this?
since we spoke last, we've made our way through North Carolina into South Carolina, and we've been spending some time in the Charleston area. I have actually not gone into town at all in the over a week that we've been here.
I had to go into town.
Abby did a couple times.
I had to go in and deal with a Walmart pickup today that was probably the biggest.
No, but you got
cluster.
to explore Charleston a little bit.
Oh yes,
I don't mean Walmart.
I'm still reeling from the Walmart experience today.
Abby,
so.
Jack met a friend at the campground that we were staying at, which was James Island County Park. Really wonderful county park.
Yeah.
Really expensive county park, but really great place. And Jack met a friend there, so they kind of that friend's mom and the friend and Jack and Abby all went into town and explored Charleston a little bit. So that was cool for you.
That was pretty cool. Let's just jump. I just want to acknowledge this as we do every week.
Thank you, traveling man.
Yes, thank you so very much, and enjoy your first camping trip. Look, we do these free every single month. You are not at all required to share your hard-earned income with us. It's such a joy for us to do this, but we just want to thank the traveling man for doing that for us. We really appreciate it.
I hear Jonestown is pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely. So let's jump in. Actually, do you want to read this question that we had from earlier today that someone left on YouTube for us?
This was on the comments announcing the live stream.
Yeah.
Do you have any, this is from Anthony, do you have any recommendations about full-time RV insurance in an older vehicle? I am in the process of restoring a 1976 RV, but I'm concerned about the proper insurance so I not lose everything in case of an accident. I suggest you check into National General. We had National General for a brief time.
Isn't that the one that Shaquille O'Neal is like the spokesperson
No,
of?
Isn't
that called the General?
Yeah, but that's a different general.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize.
It's not National General.
Sorry, didn't realize there were so many generals who insure us.
National General, we had them when we had our bus conversion. And they're a popular option for full-time RVers. They're pretty good with full-time RVers. So I would say that's probably one of your best bets. Another option that a lot of people that are full-time RVers use is Progressive, but Progressive will not do a school bus conversion. So I don't know if they will do like an older coach conversion from an old RV or something, but they probably will. The problem you'll run into is trying to find somebody who will actually insure you in case of an accident instead of just liability that would cover your RV itself. Obviously, that's what you want, is that, you know, if you crash it or something or whatever, a tree falls on it, then you can replace it. So you're going to want to shop around, but I would check with National General first.
So tons of people are saying hello. So hello to all of you out there. As always, we like to point out that both of our parents are here this evening. And
Hi, guys.
I got to give it to those moms and dads. They keep showing up every week, even though, they've seen our mugs for like 40 years now. So they keep showing up here on the live stream. And it's so nice to not only see new faces in here, but to see old faces as well, to see family and friends. And this is like, I'm just reading everything, and this is just bringing my heart so much joy. Someone I think was asking if I have made a Target run yet. I think that's what they're asking me. No, I keep avoiding it because we have been so busy the last 3 weeks, like really, really busy, to the point where we keep looking at each other and going, why did we agree to that? Or why did we say we were going to do that? Or why did we give this, task to each other? And it's really sort of kind of cut into our ability to do anything else. I mean, poor Henry, he set up the croquet pitch today out in the campsite, and he just wants us to play so bad.
I did a round.
You
with
did
him.
a round. I did not do a round. What was supposed to be an hour pickup, and I'm not going to go into it, but what was supposed to be an hour pickup today for a Walmart order, because we're 30 minutes away from the nearest town, what was supposed to be an hour pickup turned into a 4-hour pickup, and that just absolutely derailed my entire day, my ability to get anything done. Everyone is saying that the sound is great.
Good.
So
If we're glistening a bit, it's because it's pretty hot here, and we're inside our clam, which is even hotter. We don't have the breeze, but that's all right.
We'll just keep drinking this wine.
We do have a little bit of a thunderstorm coming in tonight. But
yeah, so if we have to run at some point, that's because the storm is here.
There's a gentle rolling of thunder off in the distance. Hey, if you could take a second to hit the like button, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. That's much appreciated. It shows it to other people. Just saw lightning in the background.
Ooh. We have a question, though. Any more news on the national parks doing timed entry? Rocky Mountain Park, Zion, and Glacier are on our list, but we have about 11 others we are going to.
So those three definitely have some version of timed entry. I know, Deb, you probably saw the video or the podcast episode that we did on timed entries at national parks. There are about 5 or 6 of them doing it this summer. No new news on any new ones doing it or any real major changes, little tiny adjustments to when tickets are available. But the big thing is that the second Going to the Sun Road tickets were available for Glacier at the beginning of this month. They were gone. Heard from many people that they tried to get tickets and they just couldn't. They couldn't get in and get anything. So that's the big issue right now, and I think it's going to be a real busy year in some of those real popular national parks for sure.
All right, so we have. I'm trying to get to all these comments. I promise. So this one I don't know anything about, but I thought I would toss it out there in case you've heard something.
Just that there's, I mean, they've got some units rolling out. They're just slowly slowly building up production. Nowhere near the amount of production that Road Trek was doing, and part of that was just sort of a rebuilding of the brand and rebuilding of the company.
BRB, everybody.
We'll be right back. She just got paged by the children.
Can I mute myself here, or should I just leave it?
Yeah, you're gonna want to turn that mic off, or we're gonna hear.
Yeah. You're gonna hear the kids fighting inside.
So part of it is a slow route due just to them rebuilding the brand, redoing everything. But part of it is there's just an issue for these Class B motorhome manufacturers in getting Sprinter vans or getting Ford Transit vans or the Dodge ProMaster vans. That they're affected by this big computer chip problem that's affecting the auto industry, but also back early last year, Amazon just gobbled up all the Sprinter van orders, and they're still catching up from that, because as many of you I'm sure know, Amazon has started to do their own deliveries separate from UPS and FedEx, and they bought all these Sprinter vans to do deliveries. Well, when you order 40,000 vans, the RV manufacturer that wants 20 of them is going to be low on the totem pole. So I'm hearing from a lot of Class B camper van manufacturers that waiting lists are getting up to 2 years now, which is quite a bit. All right, let's find something. Find something else. Michael says I'll be at Myrtle Beach in August. We're going to Myrtle Beach next from here, and we're excited to do that. We're working with the Visitors Bureau there to actually do some really cool, fun exploring things. RV Davies useless. Oh, wow. Best way to break out of jail. Okay. Hi, Dad. How's it going? Hi, Mark from Dubuque, Iowa, one of our favorite towns in all of our travels. Why don't you have moderators? Well, we haven't needed them up to yet, but maybe it's the time that we're getting there.
I don't even really know how that works, to be honest. I'd have to look into that. And to be honest, again, more honest, we're just in the process now of being able to bring someone on to work with us. So we're learning all of this as we go, and so
yeah, we're hiring our first employee, which is awesome, but it's also it's kind of blowing our minds a little bit. What are the staple foods you keep on hand when you're almost out of everything fresh? With 5 rating the fridge, it must be a constant problem. Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its.
Craisins is pretty much what Henry lives on.
Z-bars. Those are a big one to have on hand.
For us, it's more things like rice and...
yeah. I would say rice, pasta, and pasta sauces. Those are things that we keep a lot in the pantry. Our kids are pretty carb-heavy individuals. But
Abby goes to the store quite a bit.
Yeah, and I have to say, because now that everyone does this online ordering and you can come and pick it up, it does make it a little bit easier to get the things that we need and kind of keep our fresh stuff in the fridge. But we also have a tiny little RV refrigerator, and I think that is one of the things I am most looking forward to when we upgrade to our fifth wheel, is that we will have a larger residential refrigerator, which means I will be able to keep more than just a jug of milk, because between 5 people or 4 people, I mean, a jug of milk, we go through that every 2 to 3 days, just if we're talking for cereals and some basic cooking needs.
Hi from Puerto Rico. That's our first territory, I think, ever.
Wow.
It's awesome.
I kind of love that. So here we go. We've got something about converting. I am converting a Ford Transit. Would be a good idea to isolate the garage from the rest of the interior with a wall. Bed would be on top of the garage. This sounds very familiar.
Yeah, so our bus conversion, there was a back door on the school bus, and we built a wall about 2 feet maybe from the back door, vertical. And then the bed was also there. So when you open the back door, there was 2 feet of space that was floor to ceiling. And then you could also reach in underneath the bed. And that was actually really, really handy. So yeah, I mean, it depends on your setup, but it worked really well for us.
Yeah, and we did the exact same thing you're wanting to do. Did you mention that we did have the bed on top?
Yeah.
And okay, just making sure. So
Good too.
I was going to grab this one. Someone wants to know, how long do you expect to be full-time RVing, and where will your campground be? Those are 2 very open-ended
We
questions.
have no idea how long.
We have no idea how long we plan on RVing. We've always said that this is a family decision, and if we have a member of our family who is unhappy with this situation, then we need to sit down as a family, or sit down with that individual if it's a kid, and talk it through. Is it unhappiness because you want something, or is there a genuine need to emotionally get off the road? So right now, everyone is pretty content. And then in regards to our campground, I would like it to be somewhere where winter doesn't really exist. That's my hope. I would like it to be a year-round campground. I don't know if that's realistic, but that would be my hope. My mom is trying to talk me into opening a campground in Branson, Missouri. They love Branson, Missouri. And that would definitely have to be a seasonal campground.
Lots of nice comments. Thank you about my haircut. So
that was a process.
I have this haircut was the first haircut I have had from another person since my brain surgery in August of 2019.
That was the last time someone cut your hair, was when they shaved it all off.
Yes, the nurse practitioner shaved my head, and I've cut my own hair ever since, mainly early on because of that. I was just shaving my head, and then because of COVID, and now I was able to finally get my first actual legitimate haircut.
I know. I'm still waiting for mine. I think I've decided I'm going to let it go a little bit longer, and then I'm just going to go whoop, and what's left of the color from the beginning of 2020 is just going to go away, and then it's just going to be whatever the good Lord has given me here. So another question, do you have the clam? Is it worth the investment?
This is the clam pavilion.
This is it. This is
now,
it.
We like it very much. The pavilion model is very, very large. And even the next size down, which I can't remember the name of, is also fairly large. When they're folded down, and I mean they're large to sit in, which is awesome, but folded down, they're still about 6 to 7 feet long. So they actually don't fit in the back of our short bed pickup truck. It only fits in our pass-through. So the folded down, that's the difference between a clam and some of the other screen tents. The other screen tents are a little bit more flimsy, but they do fold down a lot smaller. But I like it a lot, for sure.
Yeah, and it's been great for things like this. It's been great for recording the podcast and for Jason's news videos, because we can still set the kids up with everything that they need inside, and we don't have to constantly be asking people to be quiet. And then also it just gives us a space that feels consistent. But like Jason said, this thing is huge. When he first opened it up, I laughed for a good solid 3 minutes because I could not believe we were going to put this thing up at our campsite. It could be its own home, it feels like. All right, let's grab another one. Where did it go? So this is pretty common, and I'm not sure if we're going to expect the same thing or not.
Look, I'm trying to pour wine with the cap on.
Let me help you here.
Now we're showing people that we're drinking wine that has a screw cap.
Those are supposed to be some good wines.
They actually say that is a better top than.
It's like party in a box. And that's good wine too. Not literally party in a box.
They actually say that the box is the best container for wine.
Yeah.
Even though the wine they don't put it in is the greatest, but the box keeps the light out and keeps the air out, so every glass is fresh.
How do you know this? We don't ever buy wine.
I learn things. I hear things.
I wish I had space for information like that. Amazing. So back to this question. This is pretty common, or I guess I should say it's more of a statement than anything else. And we can follow it up with this one. Hear the rumors about shutdowns of factories.
Only from our friend from Josh over at the Haylet RV YouTube channel, who said he heard rumors about potential factory shutdowns. I wouldn't be surprised. It's the same thing that's happened in the automotive industry. If you can't build something because you're missing a major part, a shutdown is what they do.
What are you going to do?
And that's what's happening in the RV industry, is that, if you can't find a toilet to put in an RV, at some point,
just go buy that composting toilet.
You can only build so many and sit them out on the lot before you got to say, okay, we're going to pause for a bit. And that's exactly what's happening. And it's one thing after another. They solve one problem, it moves to another one. We've heard of companies hiring people that are specializing in procuring goods and materials, because it's not just components, it's also raw materials like lumber and steel and all that's all getting really expensive, and more than getting expensive, getting difficult to find.
Hey, before we grab another comment, can we just share a couple of upcoming things
Sure.
that we have? Because I feel like, especially this one on Thursday, really falls into a lot of the questions that are being asked here. So
it's a busy camp season. We know lots of campgrounds are saying that they are way more booked than they ever are this time of year for the rest of the year. There are still campsites to be had out there, though, and we're going to talk on a special live stream on Thursday night with a couple experts, hosted by myself, moderated by myself, about strategies for finding campsites this year, in this very, very busy year. We're going to talk with Diana Kelly, who is the CEO of Camp Cal Now, which is the Association of California Campgrounds. And we're going to talk with Mark Koepp, who runs the website campgroundviews.com, which is a great resource for finding campsites. But also, Mark runs a Facebook group of like 2,000 RV park owners, and he really has his finger on the pulse of what's going on with campgrounds. So we're going to talk a lot about strategies for booking campgrounds, where to find what's available, but also for finding boondocking, because boondocking is also going to be a challenge. Every time I talk about campgrounds being really busy this year, and everybody says, they will chime in with, well, that's why I boondock. Well, the boondocking locations are also going to be very busy as well. They already are. And so we're going to talk about where to find the best boondocking locations that are away from crowds and stuff like that. So it's a live stream just like this one, on YouTube and Facebook again. So you'll be able to ask questions of the panel as well.
And I just dropped the links to all of those. So if you see RV Miles or Our Wandering Family coming up as a comment, I dropped the links for the YouTube live, and also it's just going to be on the RV Miles Facebook page and the RV Miles YouTube page. So please come over and join us there. And then one other thing, Jason and I are really honored to be one of the speakers at the RV Family Virtual Summit, which is happening May 11th through the 15th. It's an absolutely free event to attend, and there are so many great speakers.
Lots of big names from that you would know from YouTube, like Let's Junk More Journey, and lots of different folks that are full-time RV families. And it's really about becoming full-timers or heavy travelers with kids,
Yeah.
or just tiny living in general.
So we are giving a seminar on national park travel with kids on May 11th. We're helping kick off that week. And then we're also doing a live panel on May 15th where we're going to be talking about RV trip planning. I'm about to drop the links in there for those that you could go and reserve your ticket. Again, it's completely free to attend. If you want access post the event, they do have like a 30-day and I think like a 6-month access pass option, but you're not obligated to get those. You can attend the week of, and it's totally free. So if you're interested in RV family travel or extended family travel, we cannot encourage you enough to come to this event. There are so many on there that we want to attend, especially the ones that talk about RV travel with teens, because that is certainly a season of life that we have entered into, and I could use a lot of support and a lot of resources on how to make that work. So I'm going to do that now while you handle that question.
Did you hear most Illinois state parks are now through their own reservation system instead of Reserve America? And do you know why?
That's interesting.
I don't know specifically why, but I can tell you, Reserve America, I got a little too big for their britches a couple years ago, and that's why they don't book all the federal campgrounds anymore. And instead, we have recreation.gov and a different concessionaire that runs that. So Reserve America, there's this big battle that's going on between campground reservation systems, and they're all trying to grab both the municipal parks, whether it's state, county, federal, and the private parks, and get them on their reservation system. Expensive to be on. And especially somebody like Reserve America, where what they do is they have a call center and all that sort of stuff. It costs a lot of money. So when part of it is often when somebody leaves Reserve America, it's because they're trying to save the fees for, for the state and for us, the consumer. So I would imagine, the contract was just being renegotiated and they couldn't come to terms, and that's what it came down to.
I would like to apologize for the trolls that have showed up on YouTube. I continue to try and block them, and it won't let me, so...
Maybe we do need a moderator.
Well, it's, you know what?
I blocked one.
It's that same stuff that we get, like, as soon as a video gets dropped. What is that? As soon as a video gets dropped...
It's spam links.
Here come all of these spams.
It's automated.
It's
bots. It's all automated. And
it's really, really annoying. So I'm attempting to block this recent one, but it's not letting me. So please scroll on past. And I apologize that silly people need to come here on an RV live stream and do something like that. So there was someone was asking about the gas shortage. I can't find the question, but they were asking if we had heard anything more about that.
Nothing new, other than, so what's happened is, I talked about this on my last news video, the professional association that deals with tanker truck drivers, I can't remember their name offhand, was sort of sounding the alarm, saying a quarter of America's tanker trucks are idled right now because they don't have enough drivers. And that's a concern for delivering gasoline and fuel to fuel stations. And now, since I put that report out over the weekend, I've talked to several different truckers who've all said it's a bigger problem than that. The trucking industry is very difficult, but especially for tanker truck drivers, it's so highly regulated. And, you get in one accident and you're fired, whether it was your fault or not. The tests, it's all very, very difficult and challenging to become a tanker truck driver, and often the money isn't worth it. There are supposedly up to 65,000 truck driving jobs available right now in the country, but with rising fuel prices and all that, we're just not paying those people enough.
There's been a lot of requests for you to say the word merch.
Merch. Merch.
So apparently that word sets a lot
somebody
of people off.
Somebody said something
Wow.
like it was like that newfangled word, merch. It's the new thing. And I'm like, look, I've come from the entertainment industry. Used to do like concert tours and stuff back in the late 90s. And like, we called it merch then. I'm pretty sure they called it merch back in the 70s.
What did you do for concerts in the late 90s? Why don't you roll down a list of some of the shows that you worked in the Quad Cities?
I used to work load-ins at an arena in my hometown. So we did whatever came in. I mean, it was anything that came into that arena.
Didn't you do Reba's show once?
Reba McEntire, which was probably the biggest show I ever worked on. 52 semi-trucks.
That's a lot.
Was her set. Basically,
that's almost as many as Les Mis needs in order to go across the country.
What Reba's show did was built an entire Broadway style theater inside the arena. So they would have backdrops that fly in and out. And she came on stage on that tour through a bit of a magic act sort of thing because she had this.
She what?
Well, it was okay. So there's a stage on the end, a stage with the backdrops and stuff, and then there's a long runway and a little round stage in the middle of the arena. So she started the concert off on that little round stage in the middle of the arena, and the way they did it was she hid in a road case that was on wheels that had ventilation and fans and stuff in it, and she would sit inside this thing, and a couple of roadies would wheel her under that thing, and then anyway, we would do the load-ins, and then the strikes, and then most people that were doing what I did, they would, you'd come in and do the load-in, and usually, depending on the size of the concert, if it was a smaller concert, it would happen over the course of that day. If it was a concert like Reba or something, it would take 3 days to load in.
Didn't you do 3 Dog Night? No.
And then you'd
Never
strike
mind.
that night. But I would also usher the show because, you know, I was like 18. So I would like do the load in all day, usher the show so I could watch it.
Yeah.
And then I would do the loadout at night, overnight.
Remember how it felt to have that kind of energy?
I,
Wasn't that something?
I remember I did
Wasn't
that.
that
I did
something?
I remember the day I figured I didn't have that energy anymore. I was doing. It was after we were married. We had kids. I did a strike of the Taste of Chicago. So the Taste of Chicago, it's come down in scale quite a bit, but it used to be a very big festival where all restaurants around Chicago would have like samples, and it would also coincide with the 4th of July and have the 4th of July fireworks and all that sort of stuff. And it was the load out of the Taste of Chicago. I did it for 3 years in a row. It was a 24-hour workday. And the last one I did, it was pouring rain. It was cold, and when it on a festival like that, when it's pouring rain, the streets, it took place on a couple streets in Grant Park, and the streets were covered in grease. So with the rain, it was like we were striking this whole festival on an ice skating rink. And then in the morning, the sun comes out and it starts to get hot, and you're wearing the clothes that you were wearing in that kept you warm overnight that are already soaked, and then you're working till 7 o'clock the next night. And then so I did that, and it was great, and I made a lot of money, but then I was destroyed for like 4 days straight. And I was like, I can never do this again.
How many kids did we have then? I don't remember
I
that.
think Jack. I think it was just Jack. I think
Yeah,
only
that
Jack had been
sounds-
born.
that sounds
Maybe
right.
Ethan was a baby. I'm not sure.
I would like to just say thank you to you. Just spilled.
I just spilled wine on
God,
myself.
that's so. Don't mind us. I would like to say thank you to Cole and Marie. That's
Thank you,
really
guys.
nice. And we're so glad that you listen to the podcast and that we can be a part of your day in that way. Because we know, again, and we say this a lot, but we know that everyone's time is really, really precious. And there are a million places that you could be right now. So just the fact that you're here, or just the fact that you listen to the podcast, we do truly, truly appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts. Eventually, there's going to be a child.
Ethan is stalking behind us.
through
I don't know.
here.
I don't know if you'll see him. He's on the outside.
He is. So let's see here. Let's grab some more
Do
questions.
Mark's there.
Which one? Mark? Okay.
There's Ethan. Hi, Ethan.
There's Ethan.
Mark ordered a new F250 the 1st of March, expected delivery 1st of August. That's, normally they're 8 to 10 weeks. We feel so incredibly fortunate that we bought our truck when we did. If we waited 2 weeks later, it would have cost a lot more. Our truck is worth more than we paid for it. If we wanted to get rid of it, but then we would have to buy a new one that would be also more expensive.
Yes.
But it's crazy what is happening with trucks right now. I'm hearing from folks that they may be getting a couple $100s off MSRP if they're lucky on Ford trucks right now. And I know the other manufacturers are having some problems, but I think Ford has it the worst right now.
And we should say too that we think some of the advice that we had gotten about this truck needing to settle in a little bit with the towing was really spot on.
We talked on our last live stream about some of the issues we were having with Sway. And it's gone pretty much. And really, it was from what it seems like, it was really about the tires wearing in.
Jason's version of it gone and my version of it being gone are totally different. I mean, it's gone. The trailer's not swaying, but we still feel from time to time.
Yeah, we always did.
I just don't remember that in Ramo, and maybe it's because I just didn't. It was such an immediate when we got into this new truck, and we had all these issues, so I was really hyper aware.
I feel 100% back to where we were with the Ram.
There's a reason why I slowed our travel way down. We are really, like, right now only going about 60 miles between campsites, which is actually really, really nice. It's nice to only have to take an hour to an hour and a half to get to our next campsite right now.
Thanks so much, Traveling with Special Abilities. We really appreciate that.
Cool.
And yes, if you would give us a like or thumbs up, we would appreciate it.
That's a really rad thumbnail too for your profile picture. I'm liking that a lot. So
thanks, Dave.
yeah.
Good to see you here, Dave.
It's nice to see you here again. I just
Dave
lost.
likes to see us spend our money.
My dad built. This is my dad. He built the Rolling Stones stage at Arrowhead Stadium, which is where the Kansas City Chiefs play, in 1975.
Ooh, that's around.
I didn't know this about my dad. I did not know that.
That's around when my dad was a limo driver, and he was driving around like Aerosmith to concerts and stuff.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, you didn't know this?
I mean, I feel like I know this,
Yeah.
but I have to say I'm pretty
The
impressed.
concert industry lives in our veins.
All right, let's see. What else do we have here? We've had a few people ask us about what our next travel plans are, and we're going to be...
I did mention while you were gone that we were going to be heading to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Okay. So we're headed to Myrtle Beach, and we're just kind of continuing to trek through South Carolina. We're going to move into North Carolina, but then after that, we have a really short window in North Carolina, and as is typical when summer starts to roll around, we got to flip this train around and start making for the Midwest. We have a lot to do in order to get ready to move from one home and
The plan
another.
is the new fifth wheel around 4th of July, shortly after. And that's barring any production delays, of course. But for as far as we know, that's when it's expected to be delivered. And
Hold up. I got to just jump this. So first off, I just want to say to Lisa, thank you for the comment about my hair earlier and the natural color. I appreciated that. I saw it. I wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you for reporting that troll as well. But also, I have to jump in here. She saw Tom Jones at the Taste of Chicago.
That was the big thing about the Taste of Chicago, is that every night was a massive headliner act, and it was free. And then they stopped the big concerts. And then they brought them back kind of a little bit, or paid and stuff. I don't know what they're doing now, but they really pulled back the scale of the Taste of Chicago. And one of the things was that, the other thing was not having 4th of July fireworks over the Taste of Chicago.
Well, and also remember the Grant Park Orchestra used to do that big 4th of July concert. I mean, 4th of July in Chicago just used to be the best. I mean, there was so much to do downtown, and it was so alive, and all of it was free. I mean, it was so great. It's not like that anymore. John said, I heard that they were going to make some improvements to some national park campgrounds. Any updates on the subject?
So I did a video on this a few months ago. It's actually our most watched video on YouTube ever, on the new plan for national park campgrounds. So what they did was they went through and did a campground design project, which sort of should guide the design of new campgrounds in the future. So that's one aspect of this, and it includes keep making 40-foot sites if possible, maybe adding sewer where possible. But that's not stuff that they're planning on adding to all national park campgrounds, anything like that. But ideas they have for new national park campgrounds if and when they happen. Simultaneously, Congress passed the Great American Outdoors Act last year, which sent billions of dollars into federal lands to improve recreation areas, and a decent amount of money has gone to the National Park Service in order to work on their backlog of repairs, and a lot of that backlog is campgrounds. So I do know that a lot of like the campgrounds in Yosemite are being redone, so they're going to be sort of a lot of like updating of campgrounds. Lots of, maybe not entire overhauls of whole campgrounds, but like, the really bad bathhouse gets replaced. That type of stuff is going to be happening over the next, several months.
Okay, so you've probably seen me staring at my phone here. So my dad just texted me, and he texted me a picture of the stage that he helped build in 1975. I'm sure no one is going to be able to see that. It's just not going to pick it up. But what I love about this is this ticket to see the Rolling Stones was $10. and it was $12.50.
What's it, like $400 now?
Oh, who knows? Advanced sale was $10. Day of show was $12.50, and tax was included. I can't even get out of a Starbucks for $10 anymore these days. And this storm is starting to get, I can feel it starting to press.
We're getting a breeze, which I like.
Oh, I like the breeze. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry, I had a question here to grab. I'm not a fan of this thunder that I'm hearing. I have to tell you,
It's nice. It's a gentle rolling thunder.
I know, but you know what? After that time in Alabama, and then when we were in Chattanooga, and we just got slammed with severe storm after severe storm, and I spent like all night long on the Weather Channel app watching the radar to see if these, supercells were gonna.
Can I tell one more concert story?
Yeah, go for it.
So
I got this. I got this over here.
This is my favorite thing. So I worked the a concert that was.
I think your dad's texting you now.
He did.
He did.
It was Cher's Believe tour. Like, remember when Cher in the early
Do you believe
yes in the early 2000s, like she had that big comeback Believe tour.
Love it.
It was Cher, and it was
I did a lot of dance
this
with it.
wild setup. She had like Cirque du Soleil performers and everything. But Cyndi Lauper was her opener. And I was on Cyndi Lauper's security detail. And I got to walk Cyndi Lauper around.
I love Cyndi Lauper.
And she was pregnant. And she was barefoot. And she was exactly like you think she would be the entire time. And she looked exactly the same then as she did 20 years earlier and as she does now.
All right, so did your dad go to Coachella in 1969?
Apparently.
Apparently, because he just sent this, and this lineup is insane. Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Wow.
Oh, it's that time of the evening when a little man comes. No, what's going on with the sky? Should I be seeing it?
Flashing white.
Is it really? Are you guys okay inside? Do you feel safe?
David Burkhart saw Elvis in 72, was 11 years old. I've seen a few Elvis impersonators in my
I'll be
day.
there in just a minute.
So I also did this show that was an Elvis impersonator at a restaurant, and I built like a flashing Elvis sign and stuff for him. And this Elvis impersonator.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to go take a look at what's going on outside.
Oh, it's fine.
Well, I'm still going to
This Elvis impersonator would literally come into this restaurant. He performed every Wednesday. It was one of our restaurants in the theater that I ran. And yeah, be careful your mic, hun. Don't drop it on the ground.
Yes, Jason.
And he would literally come in and eat a T-bone steak. Because everybody, if you worked there, you got offered a free meal, like your shift meal. And normally you weren't able to get things like steak, but he would come in and order the T-bone steak because, apparently he's Elvis, and that's the way it was. All right, what else do we got here? Travis, our good friend Travis, haven't scrolled to read all questions, but really worried about finding camping spots. Watched a couple of videos last night that made me feel I was going to be bad this summer, maybe impossible. Again, a reminder to watch the live stream that we're doing Thursday night. That's talking about this specific subject with some experts, but it's going to be a little bit more challenging. There are campsites available, but I mean, folks who don't normally like to reserve campgrounds too far in advance might want to consider booking their whole summer out, because that's your best bet at getting, what you want. And, keep your travel plans flexible based on, we've been, sometimes not planning does help you. Sometimes being last minute, you sometimes are able to get campgrounds a little bit easier because they were sold out and now they're not, or you can make a decision on where to go based on who's got some availability somewhere. Set yourself up for some boondocking so that you can do it when you need to. We're definitely going to be investing heavily in being prepared to do a lot more boondocking than we have been since COVID began. We haven't been doing as much boondocking as we did before in the bus. So we're going to certainly be setting ourselves up in the new fifth wheel for a lot more boondocking, partially because of this.
Sorry, you guys are all about to be witness to a discussion. So I need to talk to you about the weather for a second. So we are
Oh,
under,
she sees red on the radar.
no, so we are under a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah.
With wind gusts potentially up to 60 miles an hour.
Well, that's not what it said earlier.
No, it's changed a little bit, and I have some concerns about the clam being secure and the rug that we have out not being taken down.
Oh, you're gonna make me take this clam down in the dark?
And I'm not necessarily
Oh!
but I'm looking at.
What if it just blows away and we don't care?
Listen, this is coming out of Charleston, and we're only about 30 miles. But I'm watching.
Oh, it looks like it's I see the dot. It looks like it's gonna mostly miss us. Zoom in. You're too far zoomed out. Zoom in. Look at that. The red all misses us.
Okay.
We're good.
Listen, hey, y'all, why don't you weigh in here? Do you think maybe we should make sure things don't blow away, like the clam that has all of our equipment in it, or should we just be like, whatever? It does look like, for the most part, it's going to go around us, but I just feel like we need to be maybe a little bit more proactive in our watching of the weather.
Charles says Myrtle Beach had some storms roll through tonight, lots of hail, which is unusual for them. I know
that is also a part of
there have been
some
serious tornadoes down in like Alabama and such.
I mean, I'm sitting here kind of like my hands are starting to get
get
a little sweaty.
After we're done here, I will take the clam down.
I don't know that I necessarily.
I don't know where I'm putting everything that's in it, but maybe I'll just put more guy lines down. Okay.
Okay. Listen, the warning extends till 9:30, which is another 40 minutes. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I feel
Anthony, Tony, is that you? Because I thought it said Tony earlier, and now it says Anthony. Bands have totally changed their business model, and live events are a big part of it. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially the internet. It's all the internet. I mean, people aren't buying music anymore.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go on the road, and we're gonna charge a lot for concerts because that's how we're gonna make money, and it's working because people aren't buying. It used to be tours were an advertising thing to sell the record.
Don't make Nana come over here and talk to you about it. Nana's going to talk to you about it. So yes, we'll play this out if it gets a little questionable. I mean, I did go outside, and it is like, speaking of fireworks, it looks like there's a giant fireworks show going on just to whatever direction this is from us, because I don't know what direction that is. I think maybe that's east, north. You know, don't you? You do know.
No, I don't. Wait, no, I don't.
Okay.
So Brian says Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, and I assume that means Molly Hatchet, unless Millet Hatchet is a band that I don't know of. In Reno, Nevada, $25. So I did like a summer festival, and I did the lighting for Molly Hatchet in this summer festival.
Listen, Matthew, it's not a watch. His phone just pinged from the Weather Channel with a warning, and this says severe thunderstorm warning. We are under.
I'm talking about Molly Hatchet, okay? I did lighting for Molly Hatchet at a concert in a field somewhere. It was the wildest thing I've ever been a part of. The only song I knew of theirs was Flirtin' with Disaster, but I just mashed buttons the whole night long, lighting this crazy, crazy concert. And the loadout for that concert was, there was a lot of raunch happening in and around the stage by the band and some groupies afterwards. And this is like in the year 2004, okay?
So yes, you guys are all witnessing in real time. And
also, fog hat.
Please be gentle with me. You are witnessing in real time as I try to process what is the best of two roads here in regards to what to do with the storm. Because yes, storms, and someone said a storm in an RV can be exciting. It can be exciting. It can also be the opposite of exciting. Actually, when we were in the bus, it would be so loud because we had a metal roof, and it would start to rain, and it would be so loud in there. And I have to say that for the kids, when it starts to rain now, there is that sort of harken back to the bus days, because you're asleep, and then all of a sudden you wake up to this just roaring sound of rain pummeling your home. And they were little, and so now sometimes storms roll in and they get a little nervous. So I'm just sitting here trying to weigh what is the more responsible thing to do as a parent. Do I need to go in there and make sure everyone's cool? Do I not make it a big deal and we just keep this thing a-rolling? There's a lot going on.
I'm talking about concert lighting. All right.
I know
Drew
you
wants to know
are.
if I was using a digital console or analog. Analog, baby. Analog all the way back then. We were just beating those buttons. It was awesome.
So let me clarify too. The clam is staked down for the most part. The rug is not.
It's very well staked down.
You have actually attached it to our trailer. I did notice that. Here comes the rain. You can hear it.
One of the 8 guy wires is attached to our bumper.
Yeah. So your dad would like you to know that you're flirting with disaster. And
then
your dad would know.
the clam is also staked down at all the corners.
Okay. The thing that's not is our rug. But our rug is pretty heavy. It's one of those
I'm not worried about the rug.
Sand mats. But here comes the rain. So we'll
Here comes the rain.
I mean, I think what I'm most concerned with is the fact that we have thousands of dollars of gear out here right now.
I put this stuff away at night anyway, but...
Right. But if a wind gust comes in and the clam goes, whoo! So does the gear.
I'm bringing inside.
I'm talking about
I don't leave the expensive stuff out here.
Let's not.
And let's not tell the internet that I do.
Let's not do this in front of our friends here. Let's save this.
Oh my God.
We'll save this. Anyway, if you have any other questions for us, we're just going to keep rolling with this. So feel free to throw them out. Someone way back up had asked if we had a favorite state that we had visited. So I feel like I know what you're going to say, because that's what I would say.
I think it's still New Mexico for me.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is funny because a lot of people say they just absolutely can't stand New Mexico. And I think part of that is that they just, they get into some campground that's just dirt and, in the heat and all that. But New Mexico is such a varied state. It's filled with, you go out, you can get some of the same sort of beauty that you get in Colorado in the northern part. You can get some of the same beauty you get in the Arizona in the southern part. And it's just not as busy as Arizona and Colorado are. And there are some wild and cool things there. Like the Gila National Forest is stunning. New Mexico state parks are fantastic and they're affordable. So I think New Mexico is still my favorite state. But I feel like state is a subjective thing. Like it's an imaginary line drawn between two places. And like, I think more accurate thing is like, what's your favorite city? Like that is more telling. And my favorite city is probably not in New Mexico.
All right. I think I'm going to call this.
Oh, you're done.
I think I'm going to call this. It is starting to...
It's starting to sprinkle, so we're going to call this because it's sprinkling.
Yes, I think we're going to call this, and we're going to put all of our camera equipment away, and we're going to go in and check on our kids.
Hold on, I do want to answer this question.
Okay.
I do want to answer the question. What's the latest on campgrounds requiring proof of vaccination? Is that likely to happen? I haven't heard of it anywhere yet. I doubt it. I doubt that that's going to be a thing. There are going to be places that are going to want proof of vaccination. I feel like that's generally not going to be lodging. I feel like it's generally going to be places where people congregate, like concerts, like festivals. like airplanes. Like those might be places where you might see companies asking for proof of vaccination. I highly doubt campgrounds where you're fairly distanced from people. I highly doubt very many of them are going to want that kind of proof, or really just want to go through the whole ordeal of dealing with that. Now there might be a few here and there, but I doubt it. I just don't see it being a big thing, and I haven't really heard of it happening anywhere yet at a campground.
So of course, the minute I say we're calling it, it starts to slow down on us, and all of you start dropping some really fantastic questions.
There is nothing happening right now that's any different than 20 minutes ago, except for the lightest sprinkle on the roof.
You know, listen, I think you really need to pay attention to that statement. Okay?
I have no doubt.
I think you just need to pay attention to that statement.
I have no doubt that it's going to be a storm pretty bad eventually. It's just not right now.
Okay. So we'll hang for a few
hang for
more
a little
minutes.
bit. We got a lot of people. We still got 250 people we're hanging out with here.
You're also getting cut off.
Yes, that glass and a half of wine has really got me going, doesn't it?
Someone wants to know, how often do we actually go back to places we stay? Pretty frequently, actually.
But we actually really love going back to places that we liked.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a big thing for us. We've done that a lot. And that's, to me, that's something I grew up with too. You know, like I feel like my family, we often vacation to the same places.
Yes,
we often went to Colorado, and it was always to like Breckenridge, Vail, Keystone. We often went to Chicago. We often went to St. Louis.
My family is, they're creatures of habit. And, you know, we grew up going, you know, almost every summer, or the one vacation I always remember we took with family was to go to the Buffalo River in the Arkansas, in the Ozarks. And that was pretty consistent. My grandparents went every year for as long as they were both living and as long as I can remember. And now my parents are doing something similar with their love for the Ozarks, but they prefer to stay in a hotel as opposed to staying in an RV or tent camping. But we did. I think we grew up with that. There's something about familiarity that once the newness of it wears off, then you get to start discovering some of its secrets. And I think also too, for our family, we love to go back to places that really remind us of a special time that we had as a family. And there are places across this country where we've endured some incredible hardships in those cities. And in some ways, you know, I would love to go back to Minot, North Dakota someday. And
I'm all for it. I would totally go back.
Go into that hospital and see those pharmacists and see all those people there that were so instrumental in keeping him alive and getting us through that time. I would love to go back there. I would love to go back to, there's a few places where I have very specific memories of things going amazingly for one kid, or, you know, something awesome happening in our business. And I would love to go back there and feel that energy of that again.
One of the things that I really was so excited to do when we first started traveling, and this was before we were full-time, was to take my family to St. Louis, because growing up, my mom took us to St. Louis almost every summer. And I loved going to like Merrimack Caverns, going to the Arch, going to not Busch Gardens, but the, I can't remember what it's called, the, where the Clydesdales are in St. Louis.
Oh, the Anheuser-Busch, that's where the Ulysses S. Grant.
Grant's Farm.
Grant's Farm.
All that stuff, we used to do that every year, and I loved taking my family to do that, and I would love to get back there again. So we do like to sort of just kind of, you know, visit the nostalgia places, but also like for us, I think one of our favorite things too is also just finding new things. So when people ask what our favorite place is, it's often the answer is like the next place, because we do like to go to the next place. You know, it is about exploring. Yes, the rain has picked up ever so slightly. It is sprinkling a little bit harder. It's okay.
You're gonna listen. The back half of all of these comments, I'm gonna need you to go through and read them because it is important that you read them. So it's been an hour. I think it's time. I would like to call it.
All right. Let's. We could
Okay.
have, if we had wrapped it up when we said we were, we wouldn't be walking in the rain. But now we're gonna walk in the rain.
No, because by the time you take all of this equipment down, you've got at least 30 minutes worth of work. It'll probably have passed. I will be walking in the rain to go and check on the kids.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was a lot of fun. We love doing this every month. And please, again, join me on Thursday night, same bat time, same bat channel, for a live stream with Diana Kelly from Camp Cal Now, the Association of California Campgrounds, and Mark Kep, who runs campgroundviews.com, to talk about booking campgrounds this year, this crazy year, finding campsites that are, already heavily booked right now. I think it's going to be really interesting, and you'll be able to answer questions, you'll be able to ask questions just like you are right now.
Can I tell you guys too that this is the most Jason ever talks? He has talked more in this last hour than he has talked all day long. That's how much he enjoys.
That's not true, because right before this, we recorded a 45-minute long session for the RV Family Virtual Summit.
I just mean in a conversational way.
It's true.
Also, to remind you, May 11th through the
Put some wine
15th
in me.
is the RV Family Virtual Summit, and we will be speaking at that as well. The links are here in the comment section, both on Facebook and YouTube. The tickets to that are 100% free. We do hope you'll go and support the amazing lineup of speakers that are there. We will be back next month, the first Monday of June, hopefully without thunderstorms. But until then, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all of you, and we will see you very, very soon.
And thank you so much to everybody that left a super chat. That was super nice of you, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so very much,
All right.
truly.
Bye, everybody.
Good night. Let's hope the thunderstorms stay away.